Hey, what's up, guys? Here to talk to you about the typical feminist mindset of women that they demand equal pay, but you know, don't see that you have to work as much hours as a man to get that pay, or there are certain other factors. The reason why you are not going to be paid as equal as a man in certain professions, and this is one of them. Now, let's get into it.
I don't think people really have their mind wrapped around when we say, like, we want equity and we want to be paid more. People are like, oh, but you guys are just complaining, shut up and dribble basketball. And it's like, no, we're constantly in this fight for equity as female athletes. We're constantly fighting to bring our chairs to the table and be even in the conversation.
My thing is this. When was the last time you ever saw anybody talk about the WNBA of women actually being something they want to see playing basketball? When have you seen a WNBA player dunk on another WNBA player? When have you seen a WNBA player be someone that has the same attention as Kobe Bryant, Stephon Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan? You see, the men I mentioned, those men have like star power. These men are investments for companies. And this is something these women don't understand. If you're not really an investment, if you're not something that's a household name, you're not going to get, the accolades or the star power or the attention or the money that you think you deserve. Let's keep going.
The foolishness of WNBA players wanting equal pay. Equity explained. Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. WNBA players feel that they deserve more money, and to take it a step further, they're talking about equal pay in the WNBA. That can only mean one thing, and that is making the same money as the NBA players. The lady at the beginning of the video is Natasha Cloud, and she talks about equity. So let's take a look at the meaning of equity so you know what we're highlighting in this video. Equity, number one, the value of a company divided into many equal parts owned by the shareholders or one of the equal parts into which the value of a company is divided. Number two, the situation in which everyone is treated fairly and equally. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Thank you very much for your support. This video contains a lot of copyrighted material. That's why the original version will be on Patreon. So if you like what we do and you want to experience our content to the fullest extent, support us on Patreon. Now it's time for us to dive into this and do what we have to do. Because we many we. We many we.
The first time I really picked up a basketball, I was late, probably around 10, 11 years old by the time I started playing. By the time I got to high school, I was like, this is it. I want to focus primarily on basketball.
I got a question. You all want to talk about equality, but you can't have equality with straight women basketball players just being left alone instead of bullying them because they're not gay. See, that's something that's also needs to be talked about in the WNBA, how you guys sexually harass straight women because they don't want to like women of the same sex. There was a married WNBA player who talked about it a couple of years ago, her sexual harassment story about how she was bullied and mistreated because she's not gay. Let's talk. How come that's not brought up? I want to bring about equality. Let's talk about that. How it's basically women joining the WNBA who are straight. It's like going to a female prison with a bunch of birthers waiting to try and, violate them. How come that's not talked about?
This is going to get me a free education. This is going to get me a degree. So I just saw so much potential in the game of basketball, and I like to think that it's all in me too. It really is like a surreal feeling to know that the dream you dreamed about as a child is coming true, and all the hard work you put in is being paid off.
When you think of an image, you kind of dream it up first.
Founded in 1996, the WNBA has been the home for some of the best women's basketball talent in the world. For 25 years, low salaries and poor maternity benefits have been two of the biggest issues in the debate over player compensation. So, let's go back there. Let's go back to 1996, because a lot of people don't know or have forgotten that the ladies have been placed on a pedestal from the beginning.
They're on their feet. The capacity crowd here at the Georgia Dome. Final seconds. There's the buzzer. It's official. The United States has the best women's basketball team in the world.
This event sparked the interest in a professional women's basketball league. The women's Olympic basketball team won gold at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and shortly after the Olympics, the WNBA was founded. October 30th, 1996, the WNBA announces 8 teams to compete in the inaugural season that officially started in 1997. Take a look at this article from the Washington Post that was published June 21st, 1997, called "The WNBA Has an Entire Sport Behind It." Let's read this part. The 18 WNBA is better supported and better marketed than any women's pro league in history, with 3 television contracts, 10 big-name corporate sponsors, and NBA backing. So they were getting the type of exposure and backing that was unknown in the history of women's sports, without even playing the game, just having the Olympics and...
Wait a minute, you're getting all this exposure, you're not even playing the sport? What's wrong with you women? What is wrong with you women? You're getting what you want, but you want something that you're not willing to work for.
College basketball as a reference. And of course, it did not come without criticism, but at the end of the day, the WNBA was more than well promoted.
We're the only league to be 80% Black women. Or we can talk about corporate America and how a white man makes more than a Black man, how a Black man makes more than a white woman. But the Black women are at the bottom of the totem pole, whether it's in sports, education, tech. We just aren't as valued as men are. And so you see that play out with the WNBA and the NBA. It's no different.
In this video, I don't want to get into the wage gap stuff because that's already been debunked many times. I want to focus on the NBA, WNBA dynamic and prove why asking for quote-unquote equal pay...
Let's go back on that a bit.
Don't want to get into the...
America and how a white man makes more than a Black man, how a Black man makes more than a white woman. But the Black women are at the bottom of the totem pole, whether it's in sports, education, tech. We just aren't as valued as men are. And so you see that play out with the WNBA and the NBA. It's no different.
In this video...
Hold on a minute. The thing is, it's like, do I agree there's racism in the workplace? Yes. When it comes to working, you got to ask, are they putting in the work, the hours? Are they just demanding the position without really putting in the work? Sorry, that's what I have to ask. Okay. A lot of times when it comes to these complaints, they just want it to be demanded to have the accolades and have the pay, but you don't want to do the work, or you don't want to put in, a lot of these, it's just nonsense. But let's keep going.
But I don't want to get into the wage gap stuff because that's already been debunked many times. I want to focus on the NBA, WNBA dynamic and prove why asking for quote-unquote equal pay is foolishness. She says that we are not as valued as men are. Doesn't it come to mind that women might not be as valuable as men when it comes to the game of basketball? Let's go back to 1996. Who remembers this?
The brawl with about an inch height advantage. And it's controlled by the Rage. Daly quickly coming over into the fourth court. Finds Stevenson out on the wing. Out on top it goes to Goodson. Big battle underneath. Kaplan going up against McWilliams. McWilliams gets the ball. Down, she gets it back. Goodson gets it back and puts it in.
This is footage from an ABL game. The American Basketball League was competing with the Women's NBA. Founded in 1995 and had its inaugural season in 1996. The ABL only lasted 2 1/3 seasons. This article from the New York Times, published December 23rd, 1998, titled, "For ABL, Too Few Dollars, No Real Exposure," gives us great insight. Let's read. The failure of the American Basketball League was foretold almost from the beginning. It never had enough money, investors, marketing, or television exposure to compete with the better capitalized Women's NBA. So we're not even talking about game yet. Let's read. The ABL joins other non-survivors like the World Football League and the United States Football League, the North American Soccer League, the Major Indoor Soccer League, and the United Baseball League, which hoped to challenge Major League Baseball, but was never launched. This proves it's not just women's leagues that are not successful. Many have tried and many have failed. However, the WNBA is in a unique position. Let's read. It is never easy to start a new league and even harder to keep on going. The ABL made it 1/3 through its 3rd season, but the marketing power of the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, and the failure to get a major television contract doomed it to gain a broadcast deal with CBS Sports, 2 games, and a cable deal with Fox Sportsnet, 16 games. The ABL had to pay the networks. The ABL had to pay the networks for a broadcasting deal. The moment you have to pay for a broadcasting deal, you're in big trouble. A big portion of the revenue comes from TV deals. The reason the WNBA is still here is because of the NBA. The value.
What does that say? What does that say right there? A lot of women are not going to like what I got to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Without men, without men, you would be poor, you would be hungry, you would be dead. Without men, you would be poor, you would be hungry, you would be dead. Okay? Men are the ones who created the NBA for you to even have a WNBA. Men created buildings that you could live in, sleep in. Even at sad at times, take it away from them in divorce court. This is just the facts. Okay? The men are practically the NBA is practically carrying the WNBA. That's just it.
Value of the NBA carries the WNBA, and they've been strongly promoting the WNBA since day one, with the type of resources that the NBA didn't have in 1946.
The game has changed through the years, but the Knickerbockers are still from New York, just as they were 5 decades ago when they played in the very first NBA game.
The basketball game was not even developed into what it is today. No 24-second shot clock, no three-point line. I'm not even talking about the Jim Crow laws that were still in effect in those times. They truly had to earn those millions. They didn't even know that it was possible to make millions with the game of basketball.
Coming into the league, you have that moment. Mama, I made it. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of dad. I'm going to take care of the family. And then you get there and you're like, damn, my contract says $47,000 as a rookie. And that's before taxes.
Yes, you did make it. You've made it to the WNBA. You didn't make it to the NBA. Natasha Cloud started with $47,000 as a rookie in 2015. And let me show you why this is good money. Let's read. The median household income in the United States is $56,516, according to 2015 data from the U.S. Census. Now you might think to yourself, but she's not making 56K. Here is the kicker. But that rises and falls depending on how close you are to the peak earning age, which is typically around 49 for men and 40 for women. Okay? So when Natasha got drafted, she was like 22, 23 years old. Let's take a look at the median earnings for Americans at the 16 to 24-year-old age bracket, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics of 2015. And we're talking about full-time workers here, okay? I'll get to that later. Here are the stats. Women earn $450 a week and $23,400 annually. For men, that's $510 a week and $26,500 annually. This means that Natasha earned double of the median earnings in her age bracket, and she's doing it as a female basketball player. It's the 35 to 44-year-old age bracket that makes the kind of money she made in a rookie year, and they have to work full-time for that. The WNBA season only lasts 4 to 5 months, depending on the playoff run. 34 games a season. What are you doing in those 7-8 months of free time? Practice. We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man. When you come in the arena and you see me play, don't you? You see me give everything I got, right? But we talking about practice right now. We're talking about practice.
If you are not the top tier players in our league, you are not getting looked at for sponsorships and endorsements that can pay you. I think on my 4th year of my contract, I was making $51,000. And then signing my bigger contract where I kind of solidified myself and my position with the Mystics, I became a max player. I had to work my ass off for that. And even then, a max is $117,000.
This is where she displays the mentality of the modern woman. She says it herself. Once I solidified myself in the position with the Mystics, I became a max player. I had to work my ass off for that. What the hell is wrong?
What did she expect? What did she expect? You get there and you still have to keep working. Okay, you're an investment. It's not just you get money. It's like sales. Sports is like sales. Okay, you get in there, you get an average check. All right, but then there's commission where you make more money. The more you sell yourself, the more money you make on commission. This is what sports is like. And a lot of women do not understand it. They think when they get there that then they could just kick their feet up. No. These positions are based on your performance. And a lot of these women do not understand it. This is what us men go through. We have to keep working to push ourselves to get supervisor positions, to get CEO positions, to get recommended for even those positions, because you have to perform. You have to prove yourself. And a lot of these women don't understand it. You're going to keep proving yourself to the day you retire in the NBA. A lot of these women don't understand it. This is why they complain and cry about things and make up crap like wage gap or greedy work hours or greedy nonsense like that, because the reality is they want the position, just not to do the work for it.
With that, what's wrong with earning a bigger contract? What's wrong with proving that you're worth the investment? Are you saying that $117,000 is not a lot of money? She signed the max contract in her 5th or 6th year. That means she's 27, 28 years old at the time, and already part of the top earners in America. Only 10% in the US make $100K or more, and she's doing it playing basketball. Amazing. She's not a senior program marketing manager, a pharmacist, or an optometrist. Most women that make 6 figures work in those fields.
And now you fast forward to 6 years later, I got my first sponsorship with Converse. That's 6 years. I had to win a championship too before I ever got a shoe deal.
Once again, you compare yourself with the NBA, especially the NBA of today. Listen to Michael Jordan.
Now I want you to tell me why.
The reason is that when you look back in our era,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, we earned what we got. That means when in the corporate people think
Hear what he's saying? You hear what he's saying? They were blood, sweat, and tears to have businesses want to market them and see if they were worth as a mascot for their product.
I don't mean to demean the young it's something that they have to learn, and hopefully they will learn that, is that when the corporate America came to us, we had a game that could validate their admiration.
And sponsorship and all that, yeah.
Now they get that before they play one game.
Yeah.
So you're rolling the dice to see if this kid's ever going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So in essence, you're paying the kid off potential that he may be great.
You don't think that's good?
No, because I think it sets bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not going to work as hard.
The NBA didn't start out giving players millions of dollars
And this is why you have these women acting the way they act, calling greedy work when you want a corporate position that pays a lot of money, but you don't want to put in the hours for it or the sweat equity. That's work. That's what is welcome to equality. This is what you wanted, right? But then there's, you have to push yourself and sell yourself to get more money. This is what these men did. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan.
Sponsors didn't just make shoe deals with every college star player. It's guys like Mike and Magic that opened this door. Because their plays sold tickets. People wanted to see them. Magic Johnson, they called him Magic because he was like a magician with the basketball, creating hocus pocus on the basketball court. Now the ball in low to Magic Johnson. Now look to Kareem. Michael Air Jordan. They called him Air because he could fly and played his game in the air. When everybody came down, he was still hanging. This is footage from almost 40 years ago, and it's still poetry in motion.
Our male counterparts, and it's no disrespect to them because every male that's in the NBA deserves to be in the NBA. But you got guys sitting on benches that are making $8 million and never see the floor. They never see the floor. And then they got endorsements and sponsors.
Isn't that the same way in high school and college? You make the cut, but you don't leave the bench. That's in all sports, football, basketball. That, sports that is not one-on-one, like boxing or martial arts. You make it the cut, but you don't see the floor. That's how it is. What are you complaining about? I'm sure in the WNBA you have women who made the cut, but they don't see the floor. And they're still getting paid money. Now, what are you talking about?
And they don't take a step on the court.
And that's a result of value. Let's go back to Michael Jordan.
If you didn't go with Nike and Adidas got you, how would that change both you and how would that change Adidas and Nike?
Well, it's hard to say that what if should never be in the dictionary because you never see the flip side of that. I think the thing that would have been consistent would have been that my play would have dictated, everything off the court. I don't think the shoes would have changed my whole outlook in terms of how I played the game. But I think I could have enhanced the shoe as in terms of how it would have been marketed. So would the brand still be as strong if it was an Adidas brand? We'll never know, because a lot of it transcended what was happening on the basketball court to the marketing aspect. All my other marketing, from McDonald's to Coke, all that came in, behind all the way I was playing the game of basketball. So Adidas could have pulled off all that as much as Nike.
To this day, the Jordan brand is strong. Jordan generated billions of dollars for the NBA, Nike, etc. Adidas had the chance to sign one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. They didn't know, but they've missed out on billions of dollars. Michael Jordan raised the value of the NBA and raised the value of basketball players in general because a basketball player can generate you millions of dollars even if they are bench warmers. A superstar player can generate billions of dollars. You want to sign him before your competitors do. Let's take it a step further.
Michael Jordan said there were 1 million brothers that won his job last year in the NBA. Of this million, only 400,000 will even make it to play high school ball. Of this 400,000, only 4,000 will make it to play college ball. Of this 4,000, only 35 will go to the coveted NBA. Of this 35, only 7 star. and the average life in the NBA is 4 years.
I always get goosebumps when I see this. And this was in 1987. The point that I want to make is, as an NBA player, you are part of a special group of men. You belong to the elites. Your career will not last long because elite players are expected to achieve elite results. You might not see the floor, but the fact that you were selected says a lot. Put one of these bench warmers in the WNBA and see what happens.
We understand that in order to make money, our league needs to make money. And people are saying, well, your league loses money. We're just at the point now as WNBA players that you have to first invest in us to tell us we're losing money. And so this is our constant battle.
Want a lawn that looks.
I heard some real foolishness right now. I heard some real foolishness. Okay?
Foolishness.
Now, I'm just going to say this, okay? Before you invest in something, you do your research, you do your homework, and you find out if it's worth investing in a person, place, or thing, okay? You find out if that person, that place, or that thing is worth putting your time and your money into it, okay? In a business. These women want to try and gaslight you to do it backwards. Put money into something that you really don't know if it's going to come out in your favor or not. This is how you know these women are really just playing stupid. They really think men are stupid. That's it. And it's sad to say you have a lot of men that are stupid and think this is going to be cool. This is going to be great. No, it's not. Okay? No. This is why I say things like the wage gap. They want gender equality is nonsense. It's a bunch of lies. They don't want equality. They want give me money because I have ovaries. I don't really want equality. I want you to give me stuff because I have ovaries. I'm a woman. Give me it. I have ovaries.
We already showed you that the WNBA has been pedestalized since day one. The WNBA loses money every year and is subsidized by the NBA. Let's listen to the NBA Commissioner, Adam Silver.
What can we do? How can we get these women a bigger chunk of that pie and get them paid?
By growing the business. I mean, the WNBA players are still paid significantly more than the G League players, certainly the top players.
WNBA players are paid more than G League players. Where are the videos of G League players complaining about equal pay?
But ultimately, this is not a Title IX issue. This is a business issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is a business issue. Simply supply and demand. The WNBA players are making this about privilege.
And we still have a number of teams losing money. I mean, I appreciate the support of ESPN. They've been great with the WNBA. You know, Lisa Borders, relatively new.
Exactly. They're not looking at this as a business, as the fact that you are a product and you have to be worth it. You have to be worth an investment. That's the problem. Okay? Too much entitlement with feminism. And feminism is what's having these women brainwashed. I'm a woman. I don't have to work for anything. Okay? Give me it because whatever I work, it may be subpar, but that is enough. Give me the more money that men have, even though these men work for what they got. I don't want to work on that level. You want to be equal to men, but still have the gender role protection. No. You want that equal pay? Work the equal hours for it.
She's doing a wonderful job, but you know, we haven't figured out a winning formula, to be quite honest. I mean, we have a lot of empty seats in our buildings. The ratings have been decent on ESPN. It's been harder to get people to come to the games. It may be because the games are in the summer. One of the things we're talking about, do we need to shift to the so-called more natural basketball season, sort of in the fall and winter? That may be part of the issue.
He runs through some of the issues real quick. The WNBA losing money and talks about figuring out a winning formula. Maybe it's the summer. But behind the scenes, they know in detail what's going on, and they have to know what's going on because we're talking about millions of dollars. And what Adam Silver is going to say next, that's the biggest reason why the WNBA is not profitable.
I'm particularly frustrated that we've been unable to get young women, girls, to attend those games. It's interesting. Women's basketball is largely supported just in terms of demographics by older men for whatever reason who like fundamental basketball. And it's something I've talked a lot to the players about, and including Rebecca when she was a player. She was active in the union and now on television. So we're not connecting with almost the same demographic that our players are.
Women are not into sports. Who's supposed to buy WNBA merchandise? After all, it's for women, right? And that's the deeper message of Dr. Kunjufu's presentation. He talks about 1 million boys who wanted to be like Mike. What do you think they were doing? They were watching basketball, talking basketball, playing basketball with the dream of one day following in the footsteps of their idol. Let's take a look at the world's most admired 2020. The men's top 20 has 3 athletes in it: Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, and Michael Jordan. And he's retired. The women's top 20 has no athlete. It's mostly actresses and singers. Michelle Obama is number 1. And listen to this.
Memorial Day weekend, though, Jamal, Michelle Obama today said that if she were able to trade places with anybody in the world, she picks Beyonce. That's what she told People magazine. What do you think?
I guess I can understand it.
Beyonce is at the 11th spot. Women are not into sports like that. They want to be princesses, models, actresses, singers.
I'm always saying our players are roughly, let's say, 21 to 34 in that age range. I'm saying, why do you think it is that we're not getting your peers to want to watch women's basketball? So, in a way, I think it's a good problem to have in that I think the game looks fantastic, and it's amazing where the league now is from over 20 years ago when it launched. But we still have a marketing problem, and we got to figure it out. We got to figure out how we can do a better job connecting to young people and to get them to be interested in women's basketball.
It doesn't matter what you do to promote the WNBA. There's no winning formula to generate quote-unquote equal pay for the players without losing money. The ladies want more money, not because it makes sense. They want the money because they feel entitled to it, just like your ex-wife feels entitled.
This is what it is like, man. This is what it is. This is what it is. It's entitlement. It's not about equal pay because they deserve it, that they feel they've worked for it. It's because they feel that they are entitled to it. No. Okay, just look at this. Look at this. No. Okay. These women should be happy with what they get. This is the truth. This is just gender roles smacking them in the face. Okay. Women and men are completely different. They deserve equality in the fact of equal respect. Okay. But anything else other than that, you have to work for it. That's all I got to say. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're not too butthurt about this topic. Later.